A house is made of wood and stone, but only love can make a home. Welcome to the RepcoLite Home Improvement Show, helping you make your home into one you'll love even more. On News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Haley, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, Dan.
Go ahead. You start the show with what you want to start the show with. You've got a ridiculous thing that you want to start with.
Happy 4th of July, Dan.
Yeah, I know. You're going to have to explain it because everybody's thinking, what is Haley talking about?
Any holiday that is not Christmas and maybe Easter,
I think I'm pretty good with
involved
Easter. And I'm good with Christmas.
Every other holiday is the 4th of July. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It could be Halloween.
Right.
It is the 4th of July.
Well, and the thing that I don't understand is I don't mean to do it.
It's just an automatic thing.
I was talking to the kids, right before Halloween. I was asking if they're wearing costumes for the 4th. And everybody looks at me like I'm an idiot. Well, yeah, I know. I don't know why I do that.
It's very strange.
You would think that maybe the 4th of July is the pinnacle event in my life.
I love the 4th of July.
And I'm not a big 4th of Julyer either.
You don't like fireworks?
Not especially.
So how can you like the 4th of July?
I don't know. I like the food and I like going outside. But I don't really like lots of big get-togethers. I like it when the people go home. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really a mystery.
Maybe it's just I'm so pro-America.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It could be. That's entirely possible. Very patriotic. I hum a lot of patriotic songs on a regular basis.
You have a flag at your house?
I've got a flag everywhere, Haley. Okay. Everywhere. Everywhere there's a flag. You look, there's a flag, and it's in an appropriate manner. I'm displaying it because I know how to do that. Yeah, I don't know. 4th of July. I call every single holiday 4th of July. Haley
something
thinks
like
it's hilarious.
Traumatic happened to you on the 4th of July?
I don't know. I intend to die on the 4th of July. That much I know. Anyway, we're going to have to move on and let Haley's pet topic go, but it is a question for the ages.
Yeah,
Maybe
it really is.
Psychologists somewhere or regression hypnotists can help me figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Why do I cling so tightly? All right. Today on the show, I'm going to cling tightly to a very important topic that we're going to talk about at the end. And it's going to be about our contest. I'm really stretching there. We're going to give away all the stuff that we've talked about for the last month and a half. We have hyped this contest for a while.
Right.
Now it's time for us to pay the piper to...
And there's 5 winners.
Oh, my goodness. It's going to be a party. It's going to be as big as the 4th of July. I promise.
Oh, my gosh.
Everybody's going to be talking about the 4th for years. Anyway, we've got 5 winners. 2 people are going to win $1,000 home improvement packages from a number of businesses. We'll explain all of that. 3 winners are going to get $150 worth of Benjamin Moore paint.
Pretty
cool. They can use wherever they want. We do not have requirements or stipulations as to where you use your paint. This is America, right? Part of what we celebrate on the 4th. All right. Now... Well, no, then also, I got to, before I get to that, I got to talk about our other big topic, which is going to be dealing with mice. I hate having mice in the house.
Well, it's very important this time of year. This is when they start coming in a little bit. You'll find them in the garage more.
Lurking. They're lurking. When you see them lurking.
They're a little tricky.
Yeah, you got to have a plan. We're going to talk about best practices when it comes to trapping them. And I don't know that I said practices right, but everybody knows what I'm trying to talk about. So
we're killing mice, people.
We're killing mice. And we'll teach you how to make a mouse skin cap. Ew. You can look like a real trapper.
No.
Well, probably not, but take a lot of them. If you've got that many, you got a bigger problem.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, right now, let's talk about another great big holiday, almost as big as the 4th in a lot of people's minds, and it's the end of daylight saving time. Daylight saving time in general is something everybody loves to talk about. Saving, singular. If you attach an S to it, you're a rube. You are...
Well, I'm a rube.
Yeah, you are uninformed.
Huh.
And if you continue to do it after being informed, then you're just... I guess ignorant or stubborn. So don't use an S. Yeah. It's not right. And the people who care will let you know.
Dan.
I don't care.
Thank you.
You can use it all you want. So daylight saving time. Love it or hate it, we're in it. That's what's happening tonight. We set our clocks back and got to prepare for that. A lot of things happen. I'm still recovering from spring, the spring ahead. That one is worse for me.
That one's way worse.
Yeah, I hate losing that hour. Technically, the idea of gaining the hour back is a little more little nicer, but now it's dark so
marketing
fast.
is better,
yeah.
but like really, everyone's annoyed.
It's
still.
no fun when you're trying to mow up leaves when you've got a dog and it's dark already. I mean,
right.
Put those things together. You need to see the ground when you've got a dog and you're trying to do the leaves.
Well, I'm excited for this segment, though, because you're going to run through kind of the history of where this came from.
Well, kind of.
And it's funny.
I think it is. I think it's got a lot of
I think it'd be a good drunk history, honestly.
Although I'm not.
He's not drunk.
No.
For the record.
RepcoLite and everybody listening.
It's just coffee.
Yeah, this is me sober. I can be as idiotic sober probably as a lot of people drunk. So, daylight saving time. Who do we thank? Who do we blame? You know, let's just figure out who to blame. That's more important. And a lot of times we think that Ben Franklin is the guy. We got to level the blame at the feet of Ben Franklin. And it's not true. Completely inaccurate. He did reference a concept of changing time around, or not even really changing time, but just getting up earlier and getting the most out of our day.
Okay.
But it was kind of a funny little offside. He's living in France, and a bunch of the people around him are waking up at maybe what Haley would consider reasonable times, noon or something like that.
Not noon.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. And Ben Franklin's waking up at the right time, which is about 5 in the morning every day. Right? He's Ben Franklin. He's got a lot of things to do. And he's waking up and he's realizing that all these people are wasting their day. And so being Ben Franklin, he's going to write something a little snarky about it and make fun and just see what people think about it. So he makes a little joke in the Journal de Paris. I don't know how you say that in French. French. That's how I'd say it in French. And when he writes that, now I'm stuck on the accent. I got to get out of that. He writes that he was awakened by a loud noise at 6 o'clock one morning, and lo and behold, the sun was in the sky. Who would have ever thought?
Oh my gosh.
And he said, if everybody would start waking up earlier, you'd be surprised to see the sun in full glory, actually giving light.
Snarky.
Yeah, really snarky. And then he proposes that if they would just get up earlier, they'd save on candles, because they'd actually be getting the work done that they're trying to get done at darker hours. They'd get them done in daylight.
Well, I'm sure the Parisians loved him.
They actually did.
Did
they? He wore a great big beaver skin hat.
Yeah, they liked it.
Oh man, it was like all the rage. This is completely off topic, but since I talked about mouse fur hats, beaver, everybody loved it. They thought it was great.
I guess that there was a time period where that was like really sought after. So.
Yeah, so maybe head to the mall with your mouse skin cap, and a whole group of people will follow you. All right, so anyway, getting back to this. Yes, we can't blame Ben Franklin for that. Maybe other things. Now we got to look at two different guys, George Hudson and William Willett. And we're going to start with George because he comes first. That makes more sense. George is from New Zealand.
Okay.
Sounds like a game show. George is from New Zealand. He likes fishing, and actually George liked bug collecting.
Oh.
And that's really the whole reason behind George's proposal that we shift the time 2 hours ahead. That's what he wanted to do.
2 whole hours?
Yes. See, George worked, and when he got home, he didn't have enough hours of daylight to go out and collect all the bugs that he wanted to collect. I'm sure he had a very active social life outside of bug collecting. Anyway, because he doesn't have enough time, he comes up with the idea to completely mess with time for everybody and proposes this 2-hour thing. It catches on a little bit, but fortunately it doesn't go terribly far. So that's George. Now we got to transition to William. William takes it a little bit further and is a little more successful. He also did not have terribly philanthropic reasons for it.
It's just all about them.
It pretty much was. See, what William's deal was is he liked to get up early, like Ben Franklin. And he was probably really loud. That's what I picture. And his wife said, William, get outside.
You're waking everyone
You're waking everybody up with the microwave and the coffee maker, all of these things, slamming the doors, just go outside. So William wanders outside. He's probably kicking the ground because he's frustrated. And then he sees the stable and he wakes up his horse, which I'm sure that wasn't really great. Yeah, it's loud too. But then he goes riding his horse all through the neighborhood. And as he's riding around, he's realizing there's so much sun.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all the holes that I need to avoid. Other people should be outside enjoying this wonderful weather. So that's part of William's deal. And William was also an avid golfer, and he was really sick of having his rounds cut short by the approaching dusk, deepening dusk. So he proposes that we change it spring ahead.
All because
All because
of hobbies.
of his hobbies, right? So that really is the one that started the ball rolling. That's 1905, something like that. It really kicks in in World War I. Germany implements it along with its allies as a energy-saving step.
Yeah, I've heard of that theory.
Yep. So they implement it, and then, of course, Britain implements it because it's really tough to have a war with somebody when you're on different timetables.
Sure, yeah.
You know, we're going to bomb them then, but is that going to work? I don't know what time is it over there. We better all be on the same time so we can figure it out. So they make the switch, all right? So that's Europe. That's over there. Let's talk about us, America, 4th of July, stuff like that. Who can we blame here? Well, it turns out we can blame one guy from Pittsburgh, and his name is Robert Garland. He's the reason that we've got it over here. And his reasoning was just like William's. He liked to be outdoors, and he thought other people should be. It's about other people who think they have a better plan for the rest of people.
So we're just going to...
change everything.
Wow.
So Robert, a couple really interesting things. He gets this approved by President Woodrow Wilson in 1918 as the first daylight saving time.
Okay.
He gets the pen that the president used to sign it into law. Well, the next year, it's repealed because the farmers lobby. We always say that the farmers want this and need this.
I was going to blame them.
Nope, they actually lobbied to get rid of it. They hate it. So they raise a stink and it goes away. Then later, during World War II, FDR signs it back into law and Garland gets the pen again. All right,
so he's got two pens now?
2 pens. He's made it into
on
law
display.
Twice. Eventually, it gets repealed again. And then it gets put back into place in the 60s. And when it goes back into place, there's not a lot of oversight. And so people are kind of just states and counties are just deciding when we're switching, whether we're going forward, whether we're going back, all of that.
So there's chaos.
Chaos. There was times in, there's lots of stories, but basically in certain parts of the country, there's a bus route between, I think it was Moundsville, West Virginia to Steubenville, Ohio, 35 miles.
Okay.
You change time 7 times.
Oh, my gosh.
In that 35 miles because all these different counties and whatever had different rules.
Yeah, that's madness.
Very crazy. Then in the 60s, the Uniform Time Act came about, and it kind of brought things down to about where we are now. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about mice and helping you fix that problem. That's all just ahead. Stay tuned.
Helping you turn your house into your dream home. This is the RepcoLite Home Improvement Show, presented by Benjamin Moore on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
And we're back, and Haley, let's talk about mice. I had mice in my home a couple years ago. I think that was pre-Haley.
Yeah,
you didn't get to see the meltdown that occurred. I've never had mice in the home growing up. And then my first home that I had for 14 or so years, no mice. Well, I move into this new house, and very first fall, I hear this scratching in the ceiling.
Ooh.
And I'm an animal person. I like animals of all kinds, but at that point...
Makes you feel gross.
It really made me feel gross. It made me feel invaded.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they were in my space,
and if you can hear them and you can't see them.
Oh, yeah. And I'm
distressing.
I'm a Googler. I like to give things a goog when I need to from time to time, and I did back then. I Googled right away, and I discovered that mice can produce litters of 5 to 6 babies at a time. Okay, that made sense.
Sure.
And they can mate immediately after birthing those babies. That did not make as much sense. I was struggling with that fact, but it's real. And if you do the math and play that out, that means they can have 5 to 6 more mice in as little as 25 days after having their first set of 5 to 6.
So like within a month, they could have 12.
Yes, and that's just one mouse mom.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, problem.
So... mice in the home. It's a big thing right now. They're trying to find warm places. I've noticed coming home from work, opening the garage door, and I saw one go scooting right out. And I thought, oh my goodness, they're already making battle plans, trying to find their way back into my castle.
I've got chipmunks. I don't have any mice yet.
God
crossed.
be with them if they find their way in, because I will burn it down if I have to. That's going to not play well if insurance ever, if there's ever an issue.
No, you'll
it's all
use
just a
these
joke.
8 tips.
That's right. We've got 8 tips to help you avoid this. And we're going to talk about trapping specifically.
Yes.
Because we don't always trap the right way. Mice are smart, super smart. Sometimes, depending on the person, they could be smarter. Right? That's entirely possible.
It's entirely possible.
So know yourself. If you think the mice in your home are smarter, you're going to want these tips to help you figure it out. Now, first tip before you even start trapping everything,
Right.
seal up the house.
Right, because you could trap all day long, catch as many as you want, but if they're still getting in, you're not really doing a whole lot of good.
Yep, that's like running the air conditioner with the screen door open,
Exactly.
right? It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So you've got to go do that. Find the little areas around the house. It could be as small as a 1/4 inch.
Right,
hole.
which is scary.
Yep, they sneak into almost everything, fill it up. You can use steel wool to stuff into that.
Better is the copper mesh. You told me about this
I did.
because the steel wool will rust and break down over time, leave stains. The copper won't do that, so go for copper.
Yeah, definitely something to do. Don't just fill them up with foam necessarily or
No, they
with
can chew
caulk.
right through that.
Yeah, they chew through it. It's like some kind of, I don't know, something they really like to eat. I know there's another word for that.
Candy.
Yeah, there we go. Something like that. Anyway, fill up those holes now. Once you've got that sealed up, you've sealed them into the home. Now it's time to eradicate them. And the second step is that snap traps really are the best.
Yeah, there's all those fancy traps out there now, the Jaws ones, the electric ones, the enclosed ones.
Yep.
They don't work as well.
It seems to be the choice of exterminators all over the world are the little wooden cheapo snap traps. Now, the little plastic
Super
ones that
simple.
Haley talked about, the Jaws ones,
Do they work as
they're,
well?
they're pretty good too. Yeah.
Okay.
And some people really like those. You know, I go back and forth. They're really easy to set. I like that about them, and I've had really good results. So those two, but it's still a snap trap.
Yes.
But all the other kinds, don't bother with them. Live traps, I would always have, you know, in a previous life before I had a home,
Guilt.
I would have felt like that was what I wanted to do, catch them and release them. I don't want to eradicate their little lives. Once they were invading my home,
Sure.
that
yeah.
was
and
off
it's
the
gross.
table.
You got to deal with the body.
Yeah, it's open season. But the thing is, with this live trapping thing, something that I ran into, and it's perfect, makes perfect sense. How humane are you really being by releasing them? You know, it's winter when we're catching them for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, it's cold when they come in. When it's warm, they head outside.
Sure.
So we're releasing them into the wild in the middle of winter a lot of the times.
And they probably got like their food stored inside, right?
Yeah,
So
look at that.
They don't have any food out there. You got to take them miles away from the house.
They
don't get back in.
prefer death. It's in mouse circles everywhere.
They
It's
probably
talked
just die
about.
anyways.
Oh, they do. That's well, I guess I can't speak with utter certainty, having not
too.
been there. But yeah, the experts seem to imply that they do die, and it's more horrible. And live traps. Another thing about live traps, and I thought this was equally horrible, and I'm glad that we have this 8 o'clock slot on Saturday morning.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, this is very nice. I'm sorry. But live traps are extremely stress inducing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, if you've got more than one in there, you'll open it up and you'll find half of one and a chubby other one who's kind of munched down.
Yeah.
So it's like zombie world happens, and you don't really need to see that. It's the
No.
whole thing you don't want to visit.
We'll just break their necks.
Yep, so just use those snap traps. What about the bait? We need to get the right bait. Cartoons tell us
Cheese. But it's actually completely false.
Yep.
Some rats even like despise cheese.
yeah.
Like
Think
it's the
about that.
complete opposite of what we've been taught.
Peanut butter, that's the best way to go. Mice naturally eat nuts, so it's really hard for them to resist.
Yeah, it makes
Definitely
sense.
go with peanut butter. Use gloves when you're handling the traps, setting them and applying the peanut butter.
You get your little smell on there.
Yeah, you don't want to get your smell in there, and then after you've gotten a mouse, you don't want to get whatever they had on you. So gloves are your friend all the way around. There are some other things you could try if you want to offer them other options, like a
Like
buffet.
a little buffet, yeah.
Yeah, peanut butter and chocolate, like a little Reese's cup. Use that, melt it, put it on there. Almond butter, marshmallows, and gumdrops. You can melt those down and put them on. Dog
said
food,
cat
cat
food.
food.
Yeah.
All of those things, yes, mice will like.
Mice
That's
like
from the
cat
experts. All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to do something we don't normally do. We're going to pause this segment and pick it up partly because we're almost done.
Yeah.
But there's some good stuff that I want to get to. We're going to do that on the other side of the break and then talk about our contest. That's all just ahead. Stay tuned.
If you want to take your DIY skills up a rung, the RepcoLite Home Improvement Show is here to give you a boost on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
And we're back. And Haley, let's talk about mice. We're going to finish talking about mice, I should say.
Let's finish killing them.
Right. Humanely. But let's be honest, as much as you may love animals,
You don't like mice.
when you own a home, you don't. Now, Haley, that is funny. And that is really true because when you first started here, I'm not talking about mice at this
Okay.
point, But like chipmunks and squirrels and things like that, you thought they were just the cutest things.
Yeah, I love
Look
chipmunks.
at them. Oh, the way they stand there, the way they stuff things in their face and stuff like that.
They're cute. Not anymore.
Haley got a house. She ended up with squirrels on the yard outside of her home. And she starts thinking, I think they're trying to get in.
Yeah, I just don't trust them.
Oh,
I don't trust
man.
the chipmunks. That one, they actually did find a way in. Thank goodness I have a cat. But yeah, I'm not a fan now.
Nope, it changes. So if you're out there thinking, oh my gosh, this is so inhumane, wait till you own a house and they start wrecking your stuff.
Yeah,
Or
it's
just
not cool anymore.
going to the bathroom, not in the place where we're supposed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Just
get a litter
that
box,
alone,
mice.
Yeah, that alone is gross. So anyway, you don't want that. You got to get rid of them. It can be really gross, really nasty to let these things get ahead of you. And like we talked about in the last segment, mice reproduce very, very quickly. You got to get on top of it. So let's talk about the best ways to trap them. We already covered 3 of these. Very quickly to recap, you first got to seal up the house before you start doing any serious trapping.
Make sure they can't keep getting in.
Right. It'd be really dumb to keep trapping if they can keep getting in. It's like what is it?
Just a never-ending loop.
Yeah, never-ending loop.
Feedback loop.
Sure wish I could complete a thought sometimes. It would be really nice. The second thing that we talked about is just use the cheapo snap traps.
Yeah, they seem to work the best.
Experts really like those the best. There's modern versions.
Yeah, like plastic ones.
Those work quite well too, but you don't need to go to the live traps. Don't go to the live traps.
It's not
We covered that all, yeah.
as we think.
We covered that last segment. I'm not going to do that to the people trying to eat breakfast, and I'm not going to do it a second time. So stick to those snap traps. Third, the bait, peanut butter. Good old peanut butter. Best way to go. There are other options.
In case you're allergic to nuts.
Oh, yeah. You can find something.
But cheese will not work.
Cheese won't work. And that's, a lot of us think that's the go-to. If you're going to use cheese, you're bound and determined, then use that little squiggle squeeze cheese.
Yeah,
at least something that's not hard, something that they got to work at a little bit. Now, one thing that we didn't talk about there that I think I've got time to, that I thought was a little bit interesting, and I want to test it. But I don't want to get the mice in the house in order to have to test it.
So if you have mice, let us know.
Yeah.
Come.
But one of the things that they're looking for this time of year right now is nesting materials.
Mm-hmm.
So they talked about using things like dental floss wrapped around the trigger of the trap or cotton balls that are tucked in there. Things that they might grab and use.
Let's put tools of theirs on the trap.
Yeah, little hammers, little screwdrivers, stuff like that. You know, if they're really, really advanced, they could. Maybe they listen to the show and they've picked up some of these tips, so dollhouse tools might be perfect. Who knows? If you try that and it works, I really want to know. Get a video, share it. All right, fourth, here's a new tip that we're moving with. No trial runs. Now, the internet is full of all this internet feel-goodery, I guess I'd call it. Where
It's just fluff.
It's fluff. It's extra steps, and they recommend just doing a trial run where you set up all your traps, put bait on them, but you don't set the traps.
Yeah. That way they can go around, find the food, eat it, feel safe, and then come back the next night in swarms.
Right. Oh, yeah. They're coming back for a night of debauchery and wild living, and now the traps are set. That's the idea. It's going to be just amazing. You're going to snag them all. You won't be able to sleep for all the snapping. Ugh. So many reasons not to sleep if that's going on. Don't do that. If they're coming to eat the bait, the trap might as well be set ready to go.
Exactly.
Just wasting time. Don't waste time. Kill. That's so harsh. I know. I'm sorry, little mice. You're cute. You got big ears, but you got to go. All right. Number 5, go big right away.
Right. Don't just set up a few and test the waters. No, just set as many as possible.
Right. Let's just get over the hump. Let's get them gone. All right. Go big right away. Place your traps where the mice go. This is really, really obvious.
Put them where they are.
Yep. I have messed this up. Not big. I wasn't completely stupid. They don't live in the center of the room.
Right.
They don't travel the center of the room. They travel the edges. But I've put things too far from the edges to really be terribly effective. They don't have great senses of smell, great senses of sight. They might be able to smell like there's no tomorrow. Maybe they're like really Sherlock Holmesian when it comes to smelling.
So they use the wall as a guide?
Oh, yeah. They use their little whiskers on one side, and that's where they know where they're at. It's like me walking to the bathroom at night. I've got one hand on the wall. It's how I know where I'm at.
Sure.
It's really tough when I miss the wall, and now I don't know. Never gone to the bathroom anywhere, but I'm supposed to. Anyway, trap them where they are. That's really important. Along those same lines, trap when they're moving. I'm really sorry, Haley. I went places that I shouldn't have gone.
Bathroom talk. Love it.
Well, when I say I went places that I shouldn't have gone, what I'm talking about is verbally. But I was just talking about the bathroom.
Yes,
so
exactly.
always in the right place for that. Verbally, who knows what. Anyway, number 7, trap when the mice are moving. They're moving at night. That's when their
so
big times are.
you don't have to have them all day long. You know, if you've got kids or animals, just set them at night, and then that's when the mice are going to get trapped anyways.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, move if you're not getting results. Another really obvious one.
Just keep fishing that same dead spot.
Right. If this, it may look good. It may look like this should be working.
Yeah.
But if it's not working, either move or start switching baits out.
Sure.
Maybe you've got to try something different. Of course, don't just stay there doing the same thing night after night. Make some adjustments.
You got to get in their head a little.
They're smart.
Yeah.
Probably smarter than some of us.
It's possible.
Right? It's entirely possible. I am really interested. That's what we had. You're going to be, somebody out there listening is going to be dealing with this maybe even tonight. You're going to start hearing this.
I'm sure that tons of people have their own ideas.
And that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an opinion on this one.
It's
this
true.
kind of a topic. So if you've got a foolproof way of dealing with mice, be sure to let us know. radio@repcolite.com, or you can go to our YouTube page, find this particular segment, which should be marked very clearly, and you can leave a comment telling us what you do.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
If it's really good, we'll share it with other people out there. All right, we're going to take a break right now. I said that we were going to lump 2 topics together at the end of last segment. Not going to do that. We got enough.
Lied.
Yep, I lied. But I lied with good intentions.
Yes.
We're going to stop this one. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking about our contest and giving away these huge, huge prizes. That's all just ahead. Stay tuned.
If you want to take your DIY skills up a rung, the RepcoLite Home Improvement Show is here to give you a boost.
And we're back. And Haley, it's time, eventually, within the next 12 minutes and some seconds, we will announce all kinds of winners.
Yeah, we've got 5 total winners, 2 that'll win $1,000 in home improvement services, another 3 that are going to win $150 in bedroom or paint.
It is going to be a party out there for some people, and then wailing and gnashing of teeth for others, perhaps. But hopefully everybody had fun along the way. Before we get to that, we want to tool through the different prize packages.
Right.
And something that we have not done is just kind of throw out there what we would choose.
Exactly.
Should we win?
We're
And
not
who
the
knows?
winners.
Well, we don't know.
But...
Maybe. The hue and cry
Can
that
you
will go out.
imagine?
Haley wins the first one. Dan wins the second. It was completely fair. We're done. No, we won't win, but let's talk about what we would choose. But before we do that, I want to, we talked about mice and dealing with mice for 2 full segments.
Yeah.
And there's something I completely forgot to mention that I think is important, and I want to mention. Another thing when trapping mice to consider, since the traps that we're recommending are very inexpensive.
Sure.
The little wooden throwaway ones. Another really good tip, and it makes a lot of sense to me, is to don't keep reusing the traps over and over and over and over. The mice pick up the smell of death.
Oh,
and they avoid the
really?
traps, perhaps. That is rumored out there by
That makes sense.
reputable sources. So perhaps, seeing as how they are so inexpensive, the recommendation might be to trap one and just toss it in a little Ziploc bag
I feel like I would do
and get
that
rid of it.
anyways. I don't want to undo the trap.
Oh, I reuse
it.
them. I reuse them over and over and over again.
That's some kind of cheap.
It is some kind of cheap. Maybe you're not being the most effective by being that cheap. So one last thing to think about. All right. Now, let's talk about the prizes that the people who we will eventually name could potentially choose.
Right.
Haley, if you won, which you will not, but should you have won, what would you have chosen of all the different places? And let's name them a minute.
Yeah, we've got Johnson Carpet One. We've got Ayers Basement Systems, Landscape Design Services, Lauren Figueroa Design, Dean Veltman Painting, and of course, RepcoLite.
RepcoLite. So all of those. So 6 different places to choose a $1,000 prize package from. Haley wins. She's all excited. She does not win. But let's say she does. That was,
So you're really
just
confusing the topic.
I know. So let's say you win. What would you pick? And why?
I would have picked Johnson Carpet One because I feel like I could get the best bang for my buck. Like, I really believe that $1,000 would give me enough money to get some carpet down in a portion of the basement that we're trying to finish right now.
All right. So what's
And
the
then
basement?
it's done.
What's it like right now? Is it
It's just
cinder block walls
like,
and
it's not cinder block because it's an old house, but they're concrete walls and a concrete floor. They're both
no moisture or anything like that?
no moisture. We're really lucky. But the walls are just painted right now. The floor is just painted.
Sure.
And eventually my husband's music studio will be in the basement. So we really need carpet to kind of reduce the sound in there. So yeah, I mean,
so that's what you would go
I feel
with.
like $1,000 would go a long way.
Yeah, I think it would. In a space like that,
Yeah.
it can do a lot. Johnson Carpet, that's not who I would pick. I really had a hard time figuring out who I would pick because really everybody here has something I dramatically need.
Right? I know I could have gone with countertops from Johnson Carpet for the kitchen too.
Right.
I mean,
Now, see, for me, if I went with Johnson Carpet, I've got a big situation where I've got carpet in my living room. It bleeds through the dining space, I absolutely hate that. I hate having carpet under the table.
yeah, like moving the chairs out and stuff.
Yeah, moving the chairs out when we vacuum and stuff like that. That's a funny story. No, I just hate it. It's hard to keep it nice. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible to keep it nice. That's been my experience. But my problem is I'm not sure, when I put new floor in, I know kind of what I want, but I'm not sure where to break it because it's going to have to run through the kitchen, which puts it into an entryway, which connects it to like a breezeway.
So it's kind of like a whole thing.
And then, where do I go to get it under the table? But then how do I break it before it goes to the living room and then down the hallway? These are complicated things.
Quite the puzzle you just laid out.
People do struggle with that. People with my situation
Yeah.
who have the same concerns or dislike of carpet in certain areas, they know what I'm talking about. They look at the area and try to figure out where's the best way to break it. And that's where I go with Johnson Carpet because I know they've got people who will help me lay it
they've
out
got designers.
in a really nice manner too. And so that's probably what I'd go with if I went with them. I didn't choose them though. If I were to win, which I will not, I would choose Dean Veltman. Painting contractor extraordinaire. We've talked with him on the show. I feel like he understands me enough to be able to come into my house.
Like you'd work well with him as a painter.
Well, I'm more concerned about him working well with me.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm more concerned for his sake. I know I've got issues and idiosyncrasies and eccentricities. And I think he could handle all of that. He makes the cut. Main thing
important.
is, I want my kitchen redone. There was one of these projects on
And you
on
don't
the
want to do it
contest.
yourself.
Well, I certainly will, but if I won, I certainly would not want to.
No, the kitchen is one where it interrupts, your daily routine.
Oh, yeah. I know how fast I work at things.
It's just-
I get distracted.
It's hard.
I've got a lot of things to accomplish, a lot of kids to make happy, accomplish their little needs and goals. It would slow me down.
Yeah.
So, if I could bring somebody in and I could slurp on coffee while they're working, I'd do that. I'd be all over that.
I would feel so awkward. I
No,
feel like I
well.
would have to leave the house if someone were working.
I'd get over it.
Yeah, I would struggle.
I'd point out places that he missed. I'd be
I
asked
don't
to
even
leave the
like
house.
if delivery people know that I'm right inside. I feel like
Huh, that's strange. Seems like you've got some issues you should sort out. All right, we've got a little bit left. Let's tick through some of the other places. Ayers Basement Systems. Neither one of us picked them, not because they didn't have things for us, but because
Right.
we had other more pressing things. If I went with Ayers, I would really seriously consider an egress window installation to take a basement space that's really nice. I like it. It's even what you might even call a lower level space.
yeah, it's
So
finished
step up
down
from
there.
basement and turn it into actual livable space down there. Turn it into a bedroom for somebody.
Well, I mean that
One of the
increases your
stinkier children could go down there.
property value as well.
Oh, and that would go up too. Look at that.
Stinky children, property value.
Yeah, it's a
great.
win-win for everybody.
No, it was honestly a toss-up between Johnson Carpet and Ayers Basement for me because part of finishing the basement will require I insulate the gap between where the foundation starts and the wall begins.
Yep.
We've talked about that on the show before. And again, that's one of those things that's cheap enough where $1,000 would actually cover the full cost.
Yeah, so that would be fun. So many different things. Lauren Figueroa, I'd do the design in a day thing. I'd have her come, and what I'd have her do, you mentioned, you saw this on her blog, where she basically shopped one of her clients' homes.
Right.
Used everything they had, but just made it look good again.
Yeah, rearranged things, staged it differently. And it's amazing how different the room looked afterwards. without any money.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I really like the without any money thing, but I still need her expertise to get me there.
Right.
Because I've already shopped my house once, and I've produced what I've produced. I would like somebody else to come in and actually make it worthy of being my home.
I see.
Landscape design. I've got a place in the backyard where we took out a compost pit. Mm-hmm. And I was always going to turn that nice little area. It's ringed by, bordered by cedars.
Okay.
So nice wind block.
Yeah.
It's very private. And I was always going to turn that into a really nice space. And like almost everything, it's just something that I was always going to do. And yet have not. I'd love to bring somebody in and help me figure out what to do. Because most of my projects, the ones that I haven't tackled, it's because I hit a snag in the planning part and I'm not sure how to proceed.
Sure, yeah.
Intelligently, make the best decision. And I'd love to bring in an expert and have them help me. I'm not going to help them. They just cringe. They're probably checking it off. Thank goodness he didn't win. Thank goodness he's not choosing us. We don't need his help. I need their help to help me come up with something.
Yeah, that's another one where I feel like I could really use their help. I've got so much shade. We've got so many trees, and our grass is just pathetic. I mean, I'd
with all
like
the shade,
to know
it doesn't have the
what
time.
to do. If there are ways around having a good yard with
you're going to have to
trees.
just clear cut the land.
Well, without tearing them all down.
Yeah. So anyway, so many different things. And then, RepcoLite. Don't forget about that. $1,000 worth of paint would go a tremendous ways.
Do my exterior.
Oh, man. You could do all kinds of stuff. Look at what $150 did in these different customers' homes that were part of the contest.
Yeah.
We've been looking at all their before and afters, and we've seen all kinds of change that's happened just from $150.
Well, and you could use it towards wallpaper.
Oh, man.
Or,
so many different things. Well, Haley, I think we have dragged as much out of that as we're going to get. I think it's time to go through and announce the winners. And I think we need to just go straight to the main winner of the main contest, right? Not the voters. This is from the 9 different pictures. We always talked about being 10 pictures. There were 10 winners. We got 9 photos back. And of those 9, we've got, do we want to give out just the winner? Do we want to go through the top 3?
Let's just do the winner.
Just do the winner. The winner of that is Rich Tenelshoff in that kitchen redo. Number 1 was the photo, and the kitchen redo was huge. It guilted me.
I'm not surprised. I feel like everyone loves a kitchen redo, and it was a dramatic difference between oak cabinets to nice white cabinets.
Yeah.
The space was completely different.
Huge difference. A lot of people I know from the comments were feeling like I felt. My kitchen could look like that if Rich would come over and do some work. So Rich Tenelshoff, big winner of the $1,000 prize package. Rich, you get to choose one of those companies we just tooled through and pick a $1,000 package and have them go to work in your home. We will reach out via email and work something out. And honestly, we're going to give you a heads up. We're going to reach out and try to get you on the show, too.
Yeah, Rich.
Point. All right. So that's coming up. Let's go to the voters as well, because we've got a number of voters. And let's start with the main prize there because we have a $1,000 prize for the voters. And that person is Cindy Perkins.
Congratulations, Cindy.
We will be reaching out to you as well, and you'll be able to pick just like Rich is going to pick. So that's a really big win. And then we've got 3 more winners, and these are the $150 prize winners.
Yeah.
And in no particular order, because there is none.
It was all random.
Yeah. Carolyn Marie, Megan Redder, and Julie Rosaboom.
Say one more time.
Julie Rosaboom. That one's fun to say. Is that why?
I like it. Yep.
Yeah. Carolyn Marie, Megan Redder, Julie Rosaboom. You are our 3 winners for the $150 prize package from Benjamin Moore. Cindy Perkins, you won the $1,000 prize package. And Rich Tenelshoff, you were the big winner from our contest. So thanks to all of the folks out there who were involved in the voting. Thanks to all our contestants who shared their projects with us.
And thank you to our partners who made all this possible.
Absolutely. All right. That's all the time we've got. We're going to wrap it up. If you want to catch this one again, you can find it online at RepcoLite.com. Whatever you do today, make sure paint's a part of it. The RepcoLite and Port City paint stores are open until 3, waiting to help. I'm Dan Hansen.
I'm Haley Johnson. Thanks for listening.